Hi, and welcome to my July wrap up. We're going to talk about the 11 books that I read this month. I had an ambitious TBR and I knew I wasn't going to get through all of it, but I also kind of went through a teeny, tiny little slump, but I'm out of it, so we're good. First, let's talk about American Royals by Catherine McGee. This I rated it 4 stars. We'll start with that. We follow four women as they navigate their journey with the crown. So Beatrice is meant to be queen. She's in training to be queen. Um, and she has been her whole life. She's really close to her family, um, at least her parents. And her love life has been brought into question her whole life because she's kind of a shy person. She doesn't really want to be in the spotlight with her love life. So she just kind of keeps to herself in that respect. And her parents want her to find a husband before she takes the throne. So it kind of doesn't go as expected. I'll just say that. And then we have Samantha, who is known as the Spare. She's always felt a disconnect between her and her sister Beatrice. And her story is interesting. I'm going to put this down. Her story is interesting, but it's not as complex as Beatrice. And then we also follow Daphne, whose only goal her entire life has been the to become a princess, basically, whether that be to marry the prince, their brother, or by other means. And she is not a good person. She is kind of a terrible, awful human being. Um, but yeah. And then we also have Nina, who is Samantha's best friend, and she has always had a crush on their brother. She's a commoner, so she's kind of unsure how she'll fit in with them, but she's been friends with them her whole life, basically, since she was a small child. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can pick a favorite point of view that we've been in. I liked all of them. Um, except for Daphne. Daphne was just interesting. I really don't like her. But she wasn't like it wasn't an unlikable experience being in her perspective, even though I don't like her as a character. Um, I really thought following four different perspectives in this type of a novel would be weird and kind of confusing or conflicting, but it really wasn't. It was kind of easy to follow through. Catherine McGee did a really good job of weaving everything together in a good way. Liked the different levels that kind of storytelling brought and the drama that we got to see unfold, because if it was just in one of their perspectives, I don't think we would have seen half as much of the drama as we got. But yeah, this is a story of love, duty, betrayal, so much more. Yeah, I can't wait to continue the series. It was a good time. And then I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I Man, I love Ali Hazelwood. All of her books have been 4 or 5 stars. This was not anything different. This is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I rated it 4 stars. Maybe I should tell you at the end. I don't really care. 4 stars. Um, this is about Misery, who is a vampire, and she's the daughter of a ruthless councilman who's like in charge of the vampires. Like relationships between the vampires, wares, and humans. And he's used his own daughter as the collateral, which is kind of like the way they keep the peace between the different species. They'll send somebody that's important to one of the higher ups to live with the other species. Totally messed up. But he's now, if that wasn't enough, he's now marrying her off to the alpha where solidify, a relationship with them. The alpha is his name is Lo, and he is, I don't know, he's newly alpha. Okay, I'm gonna put this down again. Um, I hate her father. But yeah, Lo is newly alpha. Sorry, I keep going off on tangents because my brain keeps like remembering things. But Lo is newly alpha, and he takes his role very, very seriously. The people that he are under his care, he really cares about them. Basically, Misery's best friend goes missing, and she is trying to find her best friend, and she's trying to use Lo to figure out what happened to her. She's not really sure why that she should connect the two, but she knows that she should connect the two. But yeah, I really enjoyed the mystery aspect of how and why her friend went missing. I thought that was really well done. Um, I love the friendship that she builds with Lo's little sister. Um, they were just very cute together. And then let's see. I thought the lore and the world building was really well done. I thought they were fun to follow as well. There was one point where Lo made me very, very angry, and I don't know how Misery forgave him so easily because I wouldn't have. It would have taken a lot more groveling. Don't think enough was done, but that's not my relationship. But that was why it wasn't a 5 star. It was because I didn't think that part was believable. I think it would have taken a little bit more. But I think it would be really cool to see something else like this from Ali. Like maybe following his best friend or her best friend with somebody else in the world. I don't know, but I think it would be really cool. Next, I read Saga Volume 9 by Brian Vaughn and Fiona Staples. That was 5 stars. We love that series so much. It is a sci-fi fantasy series following a young family, and they're just trying to live their lives, and people don't like them being together because they're from different species. Or she's from a moon, he's from a world. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read the first one, but, or had to give a synopsis of the first one. But um, I'm obviously far into the series, so I can't really give you the synopsis of this one. Um, but yeah, they're just trying to find their place in the world and meeting friends along the way and trying to stay together, which is difficult for them. Um, this series has ripped my heart out and put it back together. It's really well done, and the art style is really cool. The like storytelling itself is really well done. There's so many twists and turns that I never expect, or if I do expect them, they still rip my heart out. Even the characters that I thought I would never root for, I end up really liking in this series. It's crazy. They're able to do so much for it. I cried at the end of this installment, and I know Volume 10 is going to be even worse, but we'll get there when we get there. And then next, I read Deathstorm by Maggie Gates, which I gave 2.5, 3 stars. I'm still kind of going back and forth. It's been almost a month since I read it, but I just can't figure it out. It's set in Texas. I think it's not too far from me. I think it's maybe an hour and a half for me, maybe. I don't know. Um, and so I was really excited for it. I love things set in Texas. It's always fun. Um, but yeah, it's a small town romance. He's a single dad. She's a big city girl who's getting exiled to this small town ranch. Um, but yeah, Christian and Cassandra, I liked their relationship fine. I thought it was cute. I liked her relationship with his kids. She does not like kids, doesn't want them, doesn't want anything to do with them, but she likes those kids. She claimed those kids. Those are her kids. She's going to protect them. She's going to take care of them. Those are hers. What didn't really click with me was Christian was like immediately infatuated with her. Like, just he sees her and he's like, "Yep, that's 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 the one." And not even in like an insta love way. I mean, kind of in an insta love way, but more in like an insta lust, which is fine, but it's not as compelling to me as a little bit of like a slower burn. But yeah, she starts the book engaged to somebody who's terrible. So like I understand that we're not supposed to root for that relationship, but it's kind of difficult to root for a new one when she's not even out of the old one. And he's immediately like trying to not trying to be with her, but like flirting heavily. I don't know. It's fine. Um but he is a sweetheart protector. Christian is like he's a sweetheart, and he's good with his children. He kind of embodies, if he wanted to, he would, and acts of service. He's pretty good at those. Yeah, again, it moved really quickly. Like he wanted her to jump headfirst into everything with him, and it's like slow your roll. She'd have to move here from New York. She just left a relationship. She would be leaving her job to come be with you. Like he just wanted it so quickly, like in the talking and like hooking up and the start of the dating, like he was like, you're gonna be all in or there's nothing here. And she was like, slow down, which I get. I would be like that too. Liked that again, it was set in Texas and there was a strong like friendship and family dynamic going on in the background. And so I am interested in continuing. I think there's another book out already following one of his brothers, I think. And I would read that. I think it could be good. Next, I read The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. I'm not sure which one it is. But this is a YA mystery following Monica. Monica, she's a dancer. Um she's gone through some stuff recently. It just opens up and it's like, hey, this is what she's been dealing with. Um Basically she lost her sister. The town lost 5 cheerleaders. They all passed away within I think 2 weeks of each other, and it was just very ominous, very weird circumstances, and things start coming up for her where she's like, oh, I don't know if I believe what the police are telling me. I don't know if these things are really the way they are. I would look up trigger warnings for this for sure. There's a lot of things going on. There's um I'll just tell you a few, I guess. There's suicide, there's statutory rape, um and yeah, a few other things. So just go into this being very cautious and look up trigger warnings if you're sensitive to anything, like anything. Um, but really, I stayed interested. I stayed hooked. It was fine. It was pretty average. I did give it 3 stars, and I would read more from this author. I think that um, she definitely did a good job of keeping me guessing. There was one or two things that I kind of put together and guessed on my own. Um, but she did good. She did good. This is fun. I would recommend. Next, we have Unsteady by Peyton Curran. This follows figure skater Sadie, who takes care of her 2 brothers, holds down 2 part-time jobs, is a full-time student, and is a figure skater. She's doing everything. She meets Reese, who is the captain of the hockey team at her college, while he is mid panic attack on the ice. He's dealing with a lot of anxiety, potentially PTSD, um, from an accident that was really, really bad that happened during a game. And yeah, but she doesn't have time for a guy, but he keeps popping up, and so they form a friendship. They have a pretty strong friendship. They help each other through a lot of stuff, but there when he tries to get too close, she very much pushes him away. There is quite a bit of toxicity between the two of them, on both sides, but mostly on Sadie's, if I'm being honest. Um, but yeah, I really did love the friendship. And they did have an immediate attraction, which didn't bother me too much. For a majority of the book, she was very back and forth with him. She couldn't decide, or she could decide, but she kept going back on her own decisions. Um, she would want to be with him, and then she would realize she was scared and she would back off. And yeah, it was kind of difficult to follow because it was so wishy washy. Hi, buddy. Do you want to come up and get with me? I don't remember what I was saying, but this is my cat. Um, his name is Winston. He has luxating patellas. Fun fact. Um, but yes, I thought some of the writing was a little off, like the pacing, the grammar, word choices. It was some of it was just a little jumbled. But overall, though, yeah, I would recommend it, especially if you like figure skating at all or hockey romance. I think it's fine. I did rate this 3 stars. I don't remember if I said that earlier or not. Um, where he thinks it's dinner time. It's not. He still has 30 minutes. Um, Next, I read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. 4 stars. Loved this. This is the time loop trope, which is typically a hit or miss for me. Loved in holidays. I don't like Groundhog's Day, the movie. It just depends. Lynn Painter, she did it well. This is following Emily and Nick. Emily keeps repeating Valentine's Day over and over and over again. And every single time she does, she either hits Nick with her car or runs into him sometime throughout the day. And I'm going to put this down. She is the type of high schooler who thinks she needs to be perfect all the time, which is really unfortunate. She doesn't. Obviously, she ends up figuring that out, thankfully. Over the course of however many days she repeats Valentine's Day, I don't remember, Nick slowly but surely helps her realize she doesn't need to be the version of herself that she thinks she does. And that was really sweet to see. Nick has his own issues. He's recently been through quite a lot. Um, and I liked that she had her very strong friend group. And yeah, it was really, really good. It had me giggling, and I even teared up at one point. Didn't cry, but I teared up. But yeah, this was this was really good. I really enjoyed it. I The only reason it didn't get a 5 star is some of it felt a little immature YA. And then also she starts off the book with a different guy. So it's very interesting to see how that unfolds over the course of the many, many Valentine's days. Um, Hi. Next, I read Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. That is the second full length novel in the Throne of Glass series. Um, yeah, we follow Selena Sardathian, who is an assassin, and she goes through trials in the first book to become the king's champion. And so we're following her in this one in the aftermath of that and what she's having to deal with. I feel for all of these characters. They're all going through it. Um, Dorian, the prince, he has his own mess going on, and I would be anxious if I was him. Selena's dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, and poor Kale, but I feel like I could regret saying that eventually because I don't know what happens in the other books. I don't know what he becomes. Um, I was spoiled to the plot twist in this book. Do not look up Selena Sardounian because you will be spoiled. Um, and yeah, even though I knew the plot twist in the ending, it still hit for me. It wasn't, I guess, as powerful as it could have been. Um, but it was still we're doing this. But yeah, I can't wait to read the next one. It's gonna be really good. And I should be getting to it in August, hopefully. Fingers crossed. If I didn't mention it, it was 4 stars. Excellent. And then I read Lovely War by Julie Berry. Yeah, this was 5 stars. This was absolutely incredible. I have eating my bookmark. No, thank you. I give all the credit to Haley in Bookland and Destiny Sidwell for making me get to that book. Haley for first recommending it to me in 2021, and Destiny for pushing me to read it right now. I cried so much. It was so good. So we're following four people during World War One, and Aphrodite is telling us the love story of two couples, and it's just it's an absolutely beautiful story. I was giggling, I was crying, obviously, I was smiling, I was gasping. Like it was a time, and the writing was just absolutely beautiful. And everybody was going through it in their own ways during this war for these characters. I highlight or underlined so much in this book. If I can one-handed find something, I will. Let's see. I underlined this quote. I thought it was pretty. If music stops and art ceases and beauty fades, what have we then? The most ordinary mortal bodies are housed by spectacular souls. Mortals curse me for the jitters of love, but I overlook it. Such delightful terror proved to Hazel that she was alive. I just love this book so much. This is one of my favorites. He took her hands and kissed them. Hazel Windicott, he said. If there is anything left of me after the war, nothing would keep it from finding its way back to you. I just love these people so much. These characters, they're so good. Like, just genuinely good people who have been through so much in life. And even just in the months that we're following them in this book, like, you need to read it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But I loved it. And then I read Fence Volume 2 by C.S. Picot, and I gave it 4 stars. We're following our same cast of characters from the first one, and they're just kind of sorry, I have it. I don't know why I didn't hold it up. Um, but yeah, we're following our same characters as they go through their fencing tournament that they're in the middle of. I did like that there was more actual fencing and rather than just setting the story up, but in like introducing characters. I liked that. Um, there's not really much to say about it because it was mostly just fencing, going back and forth. But again, I liked it. It was 4 stars. It's good. It's got a great art style. I think the characters are fully like fleshed out. I think that as we continue the series, we'll see even more of the growth that we like, and we got to see more friendship building, relationship building. And it was just a fun time. I really enjoyed it. And then lastly, I read Rock Bottom Girl by Lucy Score, which I gave 2.5 stars. It was fine. Destiny said it best in her Goodreads review. Not her best. Basically, this one follows Marley, who is at a rock bottom. Shocker. And she goes back to her hometown, starts living with her parents. She's 38 years old. She feels like she's lost. She's stumbling. Every guy she's ever been with, she's broken up with, or he's broken up with her. Every job she's had, she's been fired from or let go. She just has no direction. But she wants to do something big. She wants to be something big. She wants to be important. And that's her only goal, only motivation. She wants to be like her sister, who she thinks is just absolutely perfect. But it's so hard to be in Marley's head. Like, insanely difficult. I would have to like stop reading. I think that's honestly what put me in a book slump, because normally with Lucy Score, I mean, I've only read 4 of her other books, but those 4 are chunkers, just like Rock Bottom Girl, and I got through those much quicker than I did this one. Like, Marley is so difficult to read about. Like, she is constantly just criticizing herself, putting herself down, comparing herself to others. She's like discrediting herself. And yeah, it's just, it's so frustrating. And it was so good when Jake finally called her out for it. Like, they're in a fight and he calls her out. It's so good. Um, But yeah, I got bored and I didn't love the repetition. Like, we would be in the same page, and at the top of the page, something would be described as something, and then a paragraph or two later, something else would be described as that, or the same thing would be described as that. And it was just like, come on, let's edit. Not all of your books have to be 600 pages. Love you, Lucy. Don't take it as I don't love you. um, but yeah, just the negative thoughts got really frustrating to continuously read. There was also a lot of negative body talk, like, oh, I lost 5 pounds. Oh, well, I just a lot. I don't want to give you details, but it was a lot. I did like the silliness of her best friend Vicky. She was fun. She was always like bringing the laughter. I liked I liked that she had that kind of best friend, and I really liked their families. They both had really interesting dynamics with their families, but it was entertaining and it was fun. That it was fake dating, but it was also weird that they're 38, almost 40, and they're fake dating for no reason other than her high school bully saw them kissing. It was just a little bit much. But all that being said, if you don't think you would have any issues with that, it's a fine book. Like, it's Lucy Score. Come on. Yeah, that is all I have for you today. Please let me know if you've read any of these books. I would love to talk about them with you in the comments below. I've read some really good ones and some really just average reads this month. Um, but yeah, I think my average rating was 3.66, if I remember correctly. I did it earlier. But yeah, so if you like this video, please like it and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Bye.